I will tell you a story which was told to me when I was a little boy. Every time I thought of the story, it seemed to me to become more and more potent. For it is with stories as it is with people. They become better as they grow older, and this is amongst the oldest of tales, sung by the sons and daughters of Orn. Back when the North was young, the world of humans and the animal people could speak to each other. It was a time when the dragons of earth, sea, and sky grew so large that a single beast in flight could blot out the sun and bring darkness to the valleys below. Nestled within the valleys of the teeth of the world, within the borders of the Bear Clan, there grew a village, and within that village lived a husband, wife, and their only son, whose name was Svein. Even in his youth, Svein was a brilliant warrior, and his skill with the sword was honed by the greatest fighters in the village. More impressive still was the boy's wit, for he could draw out the weakness in his opponents, and in combat could bend his environment to his advantage. One early autumn morning, young Svein was hunting reindeer in the nearby woods, when suddenly a dragon descended upon his village. Alas! It was Valknjöggr, the devourer, terror of the Northlands. A dragon whose size was matched by no living creature. He hungered still for ever more power, and his thirst could not be quenched. Why Valknjöggr chose to descend upon the village has been lost to time. When Svein returned, the monster was gone, and the village lay in ash, his parents both dead. Alone now, the young fighter gathered what remained of his petty belongings, and ventured forth, seeking a new life, and swearing vengeance against Valknjöggr the Devourer. 100 moons waxed and waned, and Svein was now a man grown. Upon his back lay a cloak crafted from the hide of a black bear, the animal he had killed bare-handed in his ritual to be recognized as a man. Rare indeed was the berserker who wore the skin of a bear. Revered amongst his kin, Svein lived and fought in the service of the Jarl of the Bear Clan. The Jarl was grey with years, and wished to name his successor before Valhalla claimed him. The Jarl's only son was weak of body and mind, and not fit to lead. Yet the old Jarl was determined to bestow power upon his own blood. For this reason, he was jealous of Svein, who had proven himself a good man and capable leader. It was his fear that the people would call upon him to forsake his son's claim, and so the Jarl was eager to be rid of Svein forever. Young warrior, the time has come for you to bring peace to your ancestors. You are to gather a company of men and scale the mountains, and there upon the teeth of the world you must slay the dragon, Valknjöggr. Cunning was this Jarl, who knew that no man living could slay such a mighty foe. Yet still, Svein would agree, for revenge lived within his heart. The young warrior consented, and made for the mountains alone, for none in the towns would follow him to certain death. The dragon lived atop a mighty volcano that towered over the Bearlands, and for 2 days and 2 nights did Svein climb, until the towns below were tiny specks of light in the darkness. As he approached the clouds, he could hear the monster's sleeping breath, which shook the pebbles under his feet. At last, the dragon came into view, and it was unlike any beast before or since. Valknjöggr was 30 times the height of a man, his hide and scales the color of dark oak, with antlers rising from his head. From his talons protruded claws that were larger than Svein himself, and a mane of deep brown hair grew from his back, ending in a furry tail that was as long as his entire body. He slumbered on the edge of the volcano, above a vast pit of lava. Standing on the opposite edge, Svein spoke loudly and fearlessly. "O great beast, devourer of worlds, your last breath is carried upon this wind. Rise before Svein, who shall be your undoing." Upon hearing these words, Valknjöggr stood upright, towering beyond the clouds. The beast looked down upon he who had disturbed his rest.
"Foolish man, none who walk this earth can defeat me, for I am the most powerful of dragons, and now you shall behold my glorious power.
I am born of the blood of Orn, first and greatest of the gods. Kill me now, and lose for all time the power for which you thirst, for I alone have the wisdom to make you greater than all living things."
You lie, human. There is nothing you know that I do not already know. I have lived 1,000 human lifetimes, and I am made of the earth itself. Within me are the 4 elements of nature. I am the unrelenting fire of the forest. I am the tempest of the North Seas. I am the rage of the earth to shake. I am the howling north winds.
I say once more, dragon, I am descended from gods, and in my blood is a wisdom you shall never know. Listen, for there are not 4 elements, but 5. You shall not have complete power until you drink of the molten metals from the bowels of the earth." Upon hearing these words, Valknjöggr knew it to be true. Blind with his lust for greater power, he plunged his head into the molten metals and drank deeply from the volcano. More and more he drank, until he began to grow. Larger he became, until his mane pierced the clouds, and still he did not stop. The power of the earth coursed through him, and he grew to such a size that all the people of the villages below could behold him in wordless terror. When the volcano was depleted, Valknjöggr knew he was the greatest of all beings from the beginning to the end of time. Drunk with power, he would begin his dominion over the world by killing the young warrior. But the beast had grown large indeed, and he could not see the world below. Furious, he breathed flame upon the mountainside. Svein, hiding in an outcrop of rocks, bided his time, as the dragon grew ever more furious. As Valknjöggr breathed his deadly flames upon the mountain, his breath drew the heat from his body, and the lava in his belly began to cool. With each breath it hardened, and the dragon turned into stone. His talons dug into the mountainside, binding him to the earth for all eternity. Seeing this, the villagers gathered around the base of the mountain, and the crowds cheered the young warrior as he returned to the Jarl. Humbled in defeat, the old Jarl had little choice but to name Svein as his successor, and 3 winters later died of old age. The reign of Svein was a great golden age for the Bear clan, whose lands expanded and skill in battle grew to fame across the north. 1,000 years more passed by, and the mountain, now the tallest peak in the north, came to be known by the name of Valknjöggr, though all of the dragon had long since been covered by stone and snow. It was upon these slopes that a young shaman from the dragon clan wandered alone. for he heard tell there was still power that lay dormant inside the mountain. What he would find in the heart of Valknjöggr, nobody knew.